What's up, homies and hoes? I'm back again. It's been 2 months, and most of that time was pretty much spent doing this. And that's because I was sitting there waiting for wandering traders to spawn so that I could get the different saplings, but mostly I needed kelp because that's the only place I could get it from. So pretty much 95% of the time that I've spent on this world in the past 2 months was just AFKing up there waiting for it. As you can see here, I killed 29 wandering traders, so it took 29 of them before I got a kelp trade. And in that time, I managed to get all this stuff. So I got a bit of wheat seeds, some flowers, all the saplings, the kelp that I needed, some dyes that I can't get otherwise. Not pink though. So yeah, most of the time spent has been doing nothing. But that doesn't mean nothing was done, and I just wanted to make a video because it's been a while. So most notably, what's been done, well, maybe most notably, one of the most notable things is that I did this, and I did this just yesterday. So it's just a giant circle. It's 98 by 98 blocks. And I'm gonna try something different. So I did record some time lapses, but they're not really good, as in they're not, worthy to put in their own video. So I'm gonna try just having them in the, somewhere on the screen, playing while I talk about it. So this circle I had a lot of problems with. So I, starting the circle, I got the center point of where I wanted this to be. So between that whatever ocean monument and that ocean monument, there's 343 blocks in between them. So I got the halfway point between them, which is right here, which happened to be on my island that I just eyeballed in between them both. And then, so they both share the same chunk in, like right, where is it? So they both share this line of chunks. So I built, I chose this chunk here that's in the center to be right in between them. So this right there is perfectly in between both the ocean monuments. Hold on, this is going to be graphic. Okay, now that that's been dealt with. Yeah, so I got the center point for this, and then I started building the circle, but I ran into some problems, and by some I mean a lot. Probably like half the time spent building this was just trying to get the perimeter down. And believe me, I have this circle memorized by what the outside needs to be. It's 14 here, then 5, then 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then you just repeat that 8 times, going all the way around. But it would just not line up. So many things went wrong. The first problem was I built out to here. This is how far out it needed to go, right? So then I started building it around and stuff, and then when I got to that side, and it was supposed to be a quarter done, I just sort of eyeballed the center of that outer 14 with this, and I was like, yep, looks good, looks like it's center. And then I just kept going around, and then I noticed that things weren't working out, and it was one problem after the other. Another problem that you're seeing that I did not take into consideration is that there's slime chunks up here. So I know about the slime chunk over there because this is a slime chunk. This is where I've been getting my slime, is right here. But this chunk also happens to be right here on this platform. So there's going to be slime spawning, which isn't great since this is going to be the main base right here, so I have to figure something out about that. Another problem is that this right here, as you can see, a lot of fish and squid and dolphins spawn in this water stream, and they just constantly fall out and die around here, so that's pretty annoying. Definitely going to have to get rid of this. And this whole thing took about, let's see here, like about 4.5 shulkers to fill it in because I had like 11 or 12 stacks on me when I started making this. So this is about 4.5 shulkers worth of prismarine. So down here on the grass platform, nothing's changed, so moving on. So down here under, where all my shit is, and the farms and stuff are, we do got some new stuff. So we got a kelp farm back here because I'm going to need a lot of kelp. So this is going to have to be expanded on, but I just wanted to make something in the meantime. And then I also made a bamboo farm here because I was going to make this bamboo farm so that I could just automatically smelt the kelp. But yeah, this doesn't produce enough bamboo to keep up with the kelp. So then I just unhooked the smoker from there because it was just wasting bamboo. And I just made it double chests, and I'll just come down here later to add like a double chest for and hoppers and stuff to make this like sort of automated, where I can just put the stuff in the chest myself. You'll see. So something new that I learned before start moving on is that when I was looking through the stats, so down here at the bottom, there's a stat right here, shulker boxes cleaned, and it was at 0, and I had no idea what that meant. So then I looked it up, and apparently you can clean a shulker box so that if you've dyed a shulker box and you want it to go back to the default color, you just right-click on a cauldron with it, and it'll change back, and it'll deplete 1 water, which I didn't know about, because I've just, anytime I wanted to change the color of a shulker box, I would just dye it to the other color. Or if I wanted the default color, I would just make a new shulker box. But I thought that was new, so thought I'd show it. I also had a lot of problems hooking up these nether portals. So this is the nether portal for the main base, but this one, there's a nether portal here, and then there's a nether portal in the drained ocean monument. And despite them being like 240 blocks away from each other, they were still linked up to the same portal, which used to be right here, basically right in between where the portals are now. And I just had to, do something about it because, I just want to travel between them quicker. It was really pissing me off. All right, so over here is the drained ocean monument. And yeah, you can, well, that's what it looks like. I'm sure you've never seen that before. So anyway, I wanted to build just like a quick, guardian farm, and this was basically like a few days ago that I made this, and this was the first thing that I worked on after coming back from not playing. And even though it's been like barely more than a month since I've actually played and not just gotten on and AFK'd waiting for wandering traders. It felt like I'd been gone for months. So this is what I made. It's absolutely terrible. It's appalling to look at. It's a disgrace to everything I've ever built. And you're seeing the best version of it. Because it was not good. I forgot a lot of things about Minecraft, apparently, in that short month. So first of all, when I made this, I made it, the same sort of way, except that I didn't have these, tubes on the sides to spawn the guardians and float them up. And I just had it blocked off here and just water running down, and nothing was spawning. And then that's when I realized, oh yeah, guardians can only spawn in water source blocks. So then that's when I had to make these tubes, which I didn't want to make originally because I was lazy, and then I realized I had to, so then I made these tubes, and then I filled them with water and kelp, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's why I've been AFKing for kelp, was so that I could do this. So then I filled these up, got it all water source blocks, and had the water flowing down to the center. And then guardians were spawning, but they weren't floating up and going into here to die and stuff. And it took like 2 seconds in my brain. I was just like, what the hell? Why are they not? Oh, yeah, I forgot the soul sand. They have to get pushed up. So then I had to go back in, put the soul sand in, and then it finally started working. And then that's when I made this tower of scaffolding, goes up to the ceiling. And then whenever I AFK, I just sit up here and the guardians die. And even as bad as this is, it still works pretty decently. So I get like a double chest of garbage like every hour or so. And like more than half of this stuff is just garbage. Like I don't need prismarine crystals or raw cod. So this really needs to be fixed. I really need a better guardian farm than this. So that's probably one of the first things I'm going to do after this. I need to add a auto sorter onto this, and I need to move this all into the nether. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these, several tubes in here. Oh, bull. Okay, well, I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy this whole monument outside, and then I'm just going to put these long tubes in with nether portals all along them so that the guardians get pushed up and then into the nether portals, and then in the nether they'll get killed in a killing chamber and then auto sorted all their stuff. But something that I realized when I was making this was no squids are spawning. And then I was like, oh, well, that's going to be a problem because I need dark prismarine. So I was thinking it was going to be more of a problem than it actually was to get ink sacs, because I've never made a squid farm. And I've only ever seen one squid farm, which usually squid farms are put in rivers, like away from the oceans and stuff. So I was a little worried that it wasn't going to work too well. But I looked up a squid farm, and then I found this design online. It's a little hard to see because it's so dark. There we go. So you can see that it's this is how it's laid out. The squids and dolphins and tropical fish spawn in these water streams, and they swim out of them, and then they just fall and die here. And after like maybe an hour, I got way too many ink sacs. Just a ton of ink sacs, because I was letting this run. Well, I kind of have to let this run while I AFK for the guardians, because when I'm up on that scaffolding, it's also loading the squid farm. But an unforeseen side effect that's actually beneficial is that when I'm AFKing up on the scaffolding, the tropical fish don't spawn. So that only spawns squids when I'm AFKing up there, which is why there's not just a ton of tropical fish and cod in there. So that's actually really nice that that works like that. Sorry, I forgot that the chunk borders were on. And I know you're thinking, how did you forget? They've been on for like the past 20 minutes. I don't know. I just sort of wasn't really paying attention. So the last thing to talk about is I have been designing what the main base is going to look like. I didn't just build a giant 98 by 98 circle for the hell of it over there. I do have a plan. Alright, so here's the plan. So right here in the center is what the circle was for. So I don't know if I'm actually gonna turn that circle into more of this pattern, but I might. And then this yellow is just where the current base was, that dirt platform that's underneath it. So then on either side we got, that guardian farm and then that guardian farm, or, that ocean monument, that ocean monument. Then I'm thinking putting a guardian farm on either side. Maybe one side will be for like XP, maybe one will just be for auto farming. And then they're each going to have their own building to house them that'll be, identical on either side. Then I'm thinking having a bridge going from the main platform over to each of them. Then around that, having some other auto farms just kind of off on the perimeters. So breeding and trading hall is pretty much just, necessary, as well as an iron farm over there. Then a gunpowder farm is really getting to be necessary, and I might make this, both like a creeper and spider farm. So not making it like 100% efficient for just gunpowder, because I also need string. And then this last one, I wasn't really sure what to make it, either a raid farm or just a general mob farm. Probably going to be a raid farm since, drops that I get from skeletons, it's just better to get from wither skeletons. Zombies, I really don't need rotten flesh. So this is probably just going to be a raid farm if I don't think of something else to make it. And then in the main base will be some other types of auto farms like the kelp farm and bamboo farm, since they don't really lag much. All right, and then this is the design for what the main base is going to look like. So we got this picture here that I found online, and this is sort of what I've designed the main base off of, is this picture. Then here's the bridge going to either Guardian Farm. So then in the middle here, you got this big housing where there's going to be some windows going across, and then there's going to be a little break, and then there's going to be pillars going around the outside of it. And then down here you got kelp and coral and sea pickles and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could tell from the picture. It's just worth saying. So this is the plan. I'm pretty much ready to start building this on the platform that I made, just that I need more materials for it. But once I set up an actual Guardian farm, I should be ready to start working on the actual main base. And really all I have planned for the main base, other than what you've seen, is nothing. I don't know what the inside's gonna look like. I don't know how the storage is gonna look like. But, just deal with that when we get there. I want to see what the full thing looks like, how much space I got inside. Because when I build these things to get the design, I really only build the absolute basics. So I've only built about 1/8 of this, but it's enough to where I know what the whole thing is going to be. And so that's pretty much it for this episode. I know there wasn't much to show because not much was done, but hopefully that next episode 3, is really gonna make up for this one. I think I'll be able to get a lot more done now that I don't have to just AFK waiting for wandering traders. So I hope you look forward to the next video, and I'll see you then.